Alright, today's video revolves around running your AC units off of the inverters. On my 95 wide body, none of my AC units can be run off of the inverters. I've installed 15,000 BTU Furrion Chill high efficiency AC units. I have 920 amp hours of lithium batteries and 1800 watts of solar going up on the roof. So I could do this. I want to do this because when I drive down the road, I don't want to run the generator to run the AC units. With the solar and the lithium, I can easily do this. But the bus wasn't wired that way. On 97s, I know the front AC unit is tied into the inverter, and I've also heard on some of them the rear is. Now, I would not run all of these together, so you guys that are already whining saying you couldn't do that, well, hold your horses, I'll explain it in a second. But I'm going to get into the wiring part of it. So in our buses, we have 3 AC relays, relay 2, 5, and 6. They're inside here. There's 2, there's 5, and there's 6. Wish I could get a better picture, but the lithiums are in the way. These are 12-volt actuated 120-volt relays. Up on our dash, we have the 12-volt switch. We flip the switch. It makes the connection in the relay, and it passes 120-volt power to the AC units, and that's what causes them to run. So I wanted to keep, obviously, the 120-volt shore power, but I also wanted to add the inverter power. So I had to do that by adding the relays. Now, these are the same relays that I did in a previous video. There's 5 of them down there. What started me on this project was replacing some of the relays that were humming really bad. Here they are, the Potter Broomfield relay. There's the part number, PRD 11 AGO 120 volt. Now, the AGO is important because there is an AYO, and thank you, John Wyatt from WOG. He pointed out that it was the wrong amps. These are the 30 amp breaker or relays that we need, and so I returned them and ordered them. So I created a new box and I added 2 of these relays in here, and I'm going to explain what I did. So the first thing I did is I disconnected, and let's just deal with number 2, which is the front AC unit. I disconnected the shore power coming in to the number 2 relay, and I ended up rerouting it and bringing it all the way up into this new box. And so you can see on the right hand side I have 2 wires, both labeled number 2. The top one is the power coming in from the inverters, and the bottom is the power coming in from the shore. So that is the wire that I took from the number 2 relay. Now, when I did that, I unhooked the power coming in, and they were too short. So I brought them up here into a junction box. I tied them together, put the new length of wire on it, ran it all the way over, brought it up, and it came in here. So this is the front relay. It's on the bottom. And it ties in on the center of the relay. So that pin right there. And watch my previous videos. I explain how these relays work. They're very simple, but essentially that center screw is the shore. This one is the inverter in power, and this one is the power going out to the load. And so I brought that in, connected it in, so now I have shore power to this relay. Second thing I had to do is I now had to get inverter power, inverter AC. So I had to go down here to these 2 boxes. So on our buses, on the outside, some have it underneath the bed. I have mine to the side of my bed. We have these 4 breakers. This is what shuts off the power from the inverters and disconnects the 120 volt. So those 4 breakers feed these 5 relays. And some of you just caught that, 4 breakers but 5 relays. It's because Bluebird split the power and pigtailed it between two of the relays on this side. So these two relays operate one inverter. These three relays operate off of another inverter. So one inverter supplies power to this. The other one supplies power to this. So I had to go and figure out where I was going to splice in power, what I was going to use. And so what I did was I used relay number 7 there. And if we get over here to my handy dandy chart, you will see that relay 7 operates the fluorescent lights. My coach doesn't have any fluorescent lights. Every single fluorescent light in this coach has been replaced with an LED. So I used circuit 7 for one of the ACs that I tied into, and then I jumped up to circuit 24, which again is on a separate inverter. Circuit 24 does the bathroom. It's got my electric drapes. It's got the ice maker, which I don't have. It has the kitchen receptacles, the cooktop receptacles, and the VCR TV receptacles. So those are receptacles I would not be putting much load on going down the road. And so those are the two I chose to tie into. So on the front AC, which is relay number 2, I tied it in to relay or circuit relay 24, which is that top one. And that gave me my power for the shore, for the ACs. And then the other thing I had to do was obviously run a wire now from the output of the 120 volt, whether it's shore or whether it's inverter, and that would be the ones here on this side going out for the again, this is for the front AC. Just ran a line out, and those are the ones coming out the bottom. So this is the rear AC out, this is the front AC out, and I just had to bring those all the way back and connect them in to where I originally disconnected the power supply going into each of the individual relays. So that's what's bringing the power into these relays. And again, it doesn't matter if it's shore power or if it's inverter power, they're getting power. And so I did that, and they work like a champ. It works really well. I now can run the AC going down the road. The other thing I did is all of the wires that are in there that are yellow, those are all the new wires that are running the AC. And then I went through, if you guys haven't bought these things are awesome. These are the Klein wire markers, the numbers. All of the ones from Bluebird, the wires were labeled, or should be labeled, with these, and it makes it extremely easy when you're looking at a wiring diagram. So I did the same thing on all of the wires going into these, so that I remember and the next person remembers what was done. Now, I said earlier in the video, some people probably in an uproar going, it's too much on the inverters. It's not. I don't plan on running both these at the same time. Again, they're 1750 watts, I believe, is what these AC units pull at, like 14.2, 14.5, whatever it is, amps. And so if I want to pull over on the side of the road and fire up that rear AC to take a nap, I can do so. Again, I've got the battery capacity and I've got solar up top. And I also have the ability to add a DC to DC converter so that the lithiums will charge off of the batteries, which I'll get into a whole video on this stuff later. That's a whole separate conversion that I did. But this is not impossible. The other thing that it did, it allowed me to figure out what all this back here meant. I was terrified of this. This is in my back closet, by the way. And it's not that difficult. And it really gives you a good understanding if you have electrical problems, where to go to, because this all ties in, and the relay numbers that are 24, 7, etc. all tie into the same breaker on the breaker panel, so they're numbered the same. And so if you figure this stuff out early on and have yourself a good set of diagrams, the electrical in this bus isn't so crazy. I mean, it's crazy, but it's not so crazy. So I hope that helps you out.